It is day 2 of Pumpkintober, so I am going to make pumpkin fudge for the first time ever. Looked up a couple recipes online, and so the one that I'm going with is 2 cups sugar, 1 cup brown sugar, 3/4 cup butter, 2/3 cup evaporated milk, which is this little 5-ounce can, 1.5 cup pumpkin puree. I am using my frozen pumpkin that has been defrosted for a day or two. 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. 2 cups of white chocolate chips. This is actually the only brand my grocery store carried, so that's the white chocolate chips I got. And 7 ounces of marshmallow cream, which I'm gonna have to look that up to see how many cups that is. And then 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So the first part is you combine sugar, brown sugar, evaporated milk, pumpkin puree, the spice. You bring that to a boil. You put all that in a saucepan, bring it to a boil, stirring constantly for 10 to 12 minutes. After that's done, you quickly add the chocolate chips and the marshmallow cream and the vanilla and stir for 1 minute. Pour it into a pan. I have a 9x9 baking dish. I have this lined with parchment paper. And then you let the fudge sit out on the counter in the pan for 2 hours. And once it cools down, you can refrigerate overnight until it's firm enough for you. So you basically have to get all your ingredients ready. Like, you got to get your chocolate chips and your puff ready, because since you have to constantly stir this, you don't want to stop to measure those out. So let me look up real quick exactly how many cups 7 ounces of marshmallow cream is, and I'll get all the other ingredients into the pot ready to go. So there are 8 ounces in a cup, and this recipe calls for 7 ounces of marshmallow cream, so that's going to be a little less than a cup. I'm just going to eyeball it. So anyway, let me get everything mixed together and go from there. I've never made fudge before. This might be a disaster. Let's see what happens. All right, here we go. Got all the ingredients except for the chocolate chips. That bag happened to be 2 cups exactly. The 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla and my marshmallow cream, which I'm just gonna eyeball it. Here's a cup to give me a general idea of how much a cup is, because it needs a little less than a cup of marshmallow cream the last minute. So bringing this to a boil, and then once it comes to a boil, stirring constantly for 10 minutes. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a little nervous. Never made fudge before, but I'll be standing at this counter stirring for 10 minutes. All right, I couldn't really record the last step because it happened so quickly. So I poured the fudge into this pan. The recipe said to line your pan with parchment paper. I kind of wish I hadn't. I don't normally use parchment paper for anything. I use this dish for brownies all the time. Never really had a problem with stuff sticking. But it's too late. I'm using the parchment paper. I just couldn't get it to stay flat, so you see, I'm not gonna have perfectly square pieces on the edges, but it's just for me and my husband. If he wanted to give it as gifts, he kind of wanted it to be perfect squares. So I will definitely forego the parchment paper next time and just trust my glass dishes, because I really don't have stickage issues with those. So anyway, I have it on this stand, this wire rack, so it can get airflow underneath the bottom, so it can cool down for 2 hours, and then they said to refrigerate overnight. I am going to taste test it after 2 hours. It should be cooled enough by then. It should be set enough to eat. And I did lick the spoon. It tastes pretty good so far, but I'm gonna wait until it cools down to get the last taste test. And you can see like the pumpkin spice inside of it. It looks really good. It looks like fudge. Like I said, I've never done this before, but it's looking pretty darn good so far. All right, it's 6 hours later. The fudge cooled on the counter for 4 hours, and then I put it in the fridge for 2 hours, and I want a snack, so let's see how good this cuts. Oh, it's very firm. Oh my goodness, I might need 2 hands. Trying to do this one-handed, maybe not the best thing. All right, here we go.
I've got three accounts that own Solana. I'm gonna recognize some.
All right, hold on 1 second. I'm recording.
Recognize some profits. What were you doing?
Robert's working. That's okay. I was just cutting the fudge with one hand, so it looks really good. Now Robert's come down for a perfect time for a taste test. Come down. Get back here. Taste test time, Robert. Get down here. All right, so now Robert's down here. So here you go. Here's a piece of fudge. It's very firm.
Holy crap, it's firm.
It's very firm. It could be the marshmallow inside of it.
It's like pumpkin.
Oh my God. It really does taste like pumpkin. I really wasn't for sure because when I licked the spoon and it was still warm, it didn't taste like pumpkin to me.
See, I could eat that.
It's good. And it's not grainy at all. Sometimes the problem with fudge, I don't know because I've never made it myself, but I feel like sometimes it's a little grainy because they don't cook it long enough.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't reach the proper temperature to melt all the sugar. What do you think? Did you already eat your piece?
Yeah.
Well, cut another piece. Tell me what you think.
I already told
Anyway,
you,
it's not grainy at all. It's perfect. My husband's already like, he inhaled his piece.
It tastes like real pumpkin.
It does taste like pumpkin. I don't taste the marshmallow at all.
Marshmallow?
There is marshmallow cream in there.
You never know.
Anyway, what I was saying was, when I licked the spoon, it didn't taste like pumpkin. It doesn't smell like pumpkin. But when you taste it, it definitely tastes like pumpkin. So this makes me very happy. My husband, he's not a fudge person.
No.
But he really likes this. Monkey, what are you doing?
Judging us.
She's judging us. Are you wanting a snack? Is that why you're watching us?
She's waiting me out.
All right, I would make this again. This is a good use for pumpkin puree. I'm not a big fudge person either, but man, this is good. It really wasn't, I mean, it kind of was expensive to make. It cost $10 to make if you add everything together, with the most expensive item being the chocolate chips that were like $5. But $10 for this, like, what do you think this is? Like a pound of fudge, which is probably like $20 if you were to
Like
buy it at Silver Dollar City or whatever.
5 pounds at least.
5 pounds at least. So cost is $10. I think it's a good deal. And you could probably find white chocolate chips cheaper than the $5 that I found.
You never know this is white.
And the pumpkin puree, I don't think I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but all that frozen pumpkin puree is puree that I made from pumpkins that we had, that I harvested the seeds because my husband loves pumpkin seeds, and I cooked down the pumpkin and turned it into puree and put it in the freezer. So just making use of a pumpkin. That's what it's all about for October. And I mean, you can buy canned pumpkin, but it's just so much more satisfactory to actually use a pumpkin that you buy at a pumpkin lot or a pumpkin field, or what do you call them? The grocery store.
Patch.
A pumpkin patch. That's the word I was looking for. It's more satisfactory to make this with pumpkins you got at a pumpkin patch. So yeah, I definitely recommend this recipe, and I would definitely make it again. See you tomorrow.